It's been very hard for them because I can remember sitting at having a meal there. It must have been the day of the funeral, or we were there anyway.
You never talked while you ate.
And
Oh, is that right?
but I do remember at some stage I had my little gold bracelet on. It was quite tight, and I couldn't get it off. And somebody must have commented about it, and I said, "No, it's all right. Dad's going to cut it off and put an extension in it." And they all just went.
I did, wasn't it?
I just remember they all just went quiet. And no one knew what to say.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. I remember it was horrible.
Well,
I don't remember it
saying
being
that, now who were the people that lived next to the church?
What church?
Oh,
The girl that-
blonde girl.
Yes, the blonde girl.
Wendy.
Wendy.
Lady Wendy. I'm trying to think
Oh,
of her
that's
name
Wendy,
today.
because I've seen her somewhere, and she told me she remembered the day of
She
Dad's
looked through the
funeral, and she
fence.
looked through the fence,
Yes,
and I thought,
yes.
well, look, he didn't have a funeral during, did he?
No.
He
His
was.
funeral-
I always
his
remember he was
funeral was in
cremated in
the-
Christchurch. Yeah,
Yes,
and she
but-
always remembered. She told me that
Yeah,
once.
she told me that too.
Where is this funeral?
Well, maybe she told you. And
We
you
had
told
to,
me.
might have
She
been the
told-
wedding she did. She saw that. She
Whose
looked through
wedding?
the fence.
Who's
Well,
wedding?
you
Your
were.
He
wedding.
was cremated,
No, you
wasn't
were.
he?
Eh?
He was cremated.
Dad was.
Where were
Dad's
you?
service.
I can't remember.
Did
Listen,
you go to Voices as well?
I think he was with Bill at Voices.
Probably.
I thought you might have all been there. But
Oh,
the service was at North
Is that
Street
one of the
in
Voices?
Betts's Chapel,
Oh,
and then through to Christchurch.
Yeah.
And we all
So I
went
don't know
through
which
to
funeral she looked
Christchurch.
through the hole in the fence at. but
And
she
we had
reckoned-
another service at the crematorium in Christchurch. We told the Christchurch people not to come down because we were going back up there because that's where he was going to be cremated.
Mm.
And
amazing.
In those days, did people just not go? Children not go to funerals?
no,
No,
we
They
didn't.
never took kids to funerals, did they?
No.
it's only really much more recently that kids go to funerals.
And I can remember too when you were very distressed when we took our children in Thailand to the funeral of their little friend who died when he fell through the roof. Remember the
Oh,
Ella?
yes.
And we must have rung you and told you about it, and you were quite concerned. You said you don't need to
take
take the
children.
children. You don't
Oh,
need to take
yeah,
children.
yeah.
I
Well,
said,
see,
Mum,
that
they're all
was
going to
a-
be there. All the
Yes.
chief
So different today.
Yes. Well, they would then because they were all going to school.
Mm. So right up till then, you still felt it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
It was a thing that you didn't,
You didn't do, did you?
ever take your
No.
children.
But I reckon that's part of the reason why. For years, I thought Dad was still coming back.
Yeah.
I think right up till when I was 14, when we
Well, he
used
was
to walk
away so
home.
long in the hospital.
Yes,
you-
and we never went to see him in hospital.
I
You said
think
he
you
wouldn't
did.
let us see
I
him
think you did, didn't you?
I must have gone into Bidwell
to
once
see the
to see
bird.
the bird. That's what I remember, the wee bird sitting on the windowsill.
I remember you said you used to take us down to the bottom to the garden so Dad could look out at us, but we weren't allowed to go in and see him.
Was that at Bidwell or Main Hospital?
I don't know.
No.
I don't remember whether it was when he had polio
He was
or when
only,
he.
polio, you wouldn't be allowed to see him.
Well, it wasn't till
No,
it
no.
wasn't till you.
We never went near him when he had polio.
No,
It wasn't till you. Do you remember him having polio?
Mm.
that was
Well, it
Evan
was only
Street.
a couple of years before he died, 2 or 3 years. Oh, 53,
90.
54. Well, when did he
50.
die?
50s.
He died
56.
57. didn't
Yeah,
he?
so
1950.
he had very weakened
57, he died.
kidneys after that, I think.
51 or 52, wasn't it?
Probably up
Because you had asthma.
Well, I was born in
You had
51,
asthma
Mum.
bad at Geraldine.
I was born in 51. Did he have it
I
over
remember
Remember
time?
Dr. Robbie was always coming.
He was about twice a day, and
At,
used to get
I remember Dr. Robbie chasing you along the hall upstairs once to give you an injection. And you were not going to have that injection.
you
I
had
was
that
probably
many
sick of
like a
it.
pincushion.
He was screaming, yelling, and he chased it. And next thing I heard him room saying to you,
I can remember the time.
You yelled that much, you didn't even feel it. You've had it. He's not crying now.
Remember the
him
time in
telling you
the kitchen, that long kitchen beside the Aga and the fridge was at that end, wasn't it, by
Yeah.
the table?
that? Yes.
Mhm.
I can remember the time. I don't know what you did. Must have rattled me for some reason. And I remember the time that you were full of the wheezes and just a bag of miseries, and I don't know what, we got into an argument, must have been the last argument I think I ever had, and I grabbed you by the shoulders and thumped your head against the wall.
Did you?
Yeah.
You big silly brother.
You awful child.
I think
Yeah.
you fixed my asthma.
No, you had asthma for long after that.
Yeah.
Mr. Arndt fixed your asthma, didn't he?
I don't know.
Remember that?
Yes,
The plastic
Christchurch.
sheet under the bed and all the powders you had to take.
The
away.
magnet.
them.
And,
Yes,
Mm.
They're
shushless.
still talking about
sleep
that.
with your head to the north. And
Yep.
Some people still use those songs.
And you know, the plastic sheet under the bed was the interesting one. I've quoted that many times.
Oh, I have.
People
I have
can't
too.
believe that.
Well,
It
it's
makes
stopping
any
the
difference.
dampness
Yeah.
coming up.
Well, he said that dampness will penetrate 30 feet of concrete. Because I told him that we lived in a 2-storey house on the top of the downs, and I said I didn't think we were near any dampness.
And isn't that proving the point now? People are putting in. Someone was talking about it. Tom, I think at
Insulating
lunchtime.
houses and
Insulating and
concrete
putting
floors and
layers
polystyrene
of
under.
polystyrene between
Yes.
the top
But
concrete.
unless you put plastic on the dirt and seal it round the piles,
It comes into the concrete.
it's still going to the rising damp's still going to cause problems. You know,
Yes.
even with we're a basement height above the ground with concrete floors. With the garage hasn't got plastic. It is a point. The garage hasn't got plastic.
Okay, I thought you were towards all the time.
And Richie had 3rd and 4th at school, and
No, he did
Wellington.
his first school cert year in Wellington.
did he? And then he came
Because
back.
when he came back, we were both in the same class. Because he missed his school cert, and we were both in the 5th form
Oh, really?
when he came back to Geraldine. Yep.
I don't
Because we had to make a pact at the start of the year that either Scott
He
did
didn't-
strife, there was no stories to go home to mum. Both in the same class. Now that you're back, we made a wee pact to each other that we
Oh,
were. If he
did
missed
you?
your Wayne at school, we went to tell tales.
What high
I
school
didn't
did he go
realise
to?
he
in
came
Wellington?
back to Geraldine.
He was
Kandala.
in Kandala, and he went to.
Yeah.
Now wait a
We
minute.
went to
What's his
Ken-
school?
Fraser's College,
No,
no, Kandala.
no.
Onslow College.
Onslow
Onslow
College.
Onslow
That's what it was.
Onslow College, Wellington, and lived with Leo and Chad
Mm.
And
in
he hated it,
Kandala.
didn't he? Absolutely hated it. He never told mum for years.
He
until
said he
recently.
Oh, he did.
cried and cried every time he went back after coming down home for holidays. He'd just cry.
Mum
I don't
never
know why
knew
you
that.
didn't follow suit and send him to Boys High, the same as you did with Bruce. He could come
Well, it
home
was
at the
Leo that
weekends.
did it. He came down and said
Well,
he
you're his
wanted
mother.
It's the worst of dealing with
to. But you
trustees.
see, it was just that I was.
Yeah, but she was
No,
probably
it was
doing what
nothing
she
to
thought
do with
was
the
right.
trustees, really. It was
But they took it.
Leo felt he didn't have a father.
Mm.
I was just in the throes of getting married to Reg, and he thought that would be the best idea. And why Leo wanted him, because he'd just lost Robert overseas, because Robert had got all his degrees and
He was
went
going
over
to
to
give him his
Switzerland.
proper upbringing, I think, wasn't he?
Well, it would have been all right. Richard, it was not a good time to move
he
Richie
hated
either.
it, didn't
Especially,
he? Yeah, when you think about it
Rich
now.
too.
Yeah, man, you wouldn't know in those days. I mean, you
Rich
didn't know,
always
did
said
you?
to me, right up until recently, he said I would never ever send my children away from home to school,
Oh,
because he used to worry about you. Your children all went
We
away
all used to say
in
that.
Thailand, you know,
I
they
used to
all
say the
had to
same
go
thing. I couldn't
away.
beat apart with my kids, and yet look how wonderful your kids have turned out. Didn't do them any harm, did it?
That's what I said to Tim today.
Different
What was it you
upbringing.
said coming in the car? You wish that some of your kids in school could get away from their parents. They might
Yeah.
stand a chance in life.
Yeah.
I said, well, that's why
Yeah.
you kids have
Quite
got a
true.
chance in life.
Quite
In today's world, it's
Yeah.
true in today's world.
It is,
yes.
it is
Yeah.
definitely.
Take some of these kids away from their parents.
But,
But I never knew that Rich didn't until he was down here with me. He was talking about it once, and he was
But
saying,
kids
Harry,
do bear things. I mean, look,
yeah,
he didn't tell you because he didn't want to upset you and he wanted you to feel okay about him going away. And I think our kids were a bit like that when they went away to school.
yeah,
They were
must
really
have.
homesick, but they didn't want to tell us because they thought that they had to be
See,
staunch and
Do you remember when Rich went away to school? See, I don't remember when he went away
I
to
do.
school. When I was just
Oh,
about
I
at
do.
high school myself, I was only a year behind him.
well, it was you and I was really mad. I
You
thought,
were,
why are
isn't
these
it?
boys lucky enough to go away to school
Because
and be given a priority
Remember we used to say
education?
that?
And
Yes.
we had to stay at home and do all the work.
Remember what we used to say to Mum?
Yes.
Boys are better than girls. I always used
But
to
you
say that.
still say that.
Because they always got
Well, because
spoiled.
they were sent away to
Yeah.
have a better education. That's what we thought.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure that's
really.
what was in the mind of the trustees as well.
I think.
It doesn't matter what sort of education the girls had.
Yeah.
No, they'd all get married and wouldn't matter anyway.
Yes.
I think
That was the
I-
attitude, though, wasn't it?
Yes, it was then.
Oh, but the promises and promises that the trustees made to Bruce, or to me,
Yes.
that Bruce would,
he was
once he
gonna go
goes
for
into
miles,
the
wasn't
business,
he?
he was
They
going
were
to
gonna
go
send you to
overseas, he was
Switzerland.
going
They
to be
didn't
trained
know.
overseas,
Ah,
and he was going to do
never
this
heard
and
about
that.
that till now.
Yeah. that was,
Trained to what?
yeah.
Fixed watches.
Ah,
That, no, that
But
was,
then Japanese
name?
watches came in or something.
oh, you know.
Oh, the trustees.
Doesn't
Oh,
matter who
Keely.
does it. They wanted
Oh,
the manufacturing jewellery and stuff like that. He was going to do training in that.
No, they wanted to bring in
They didn't know how
Richie
dumb I
into the
was, though,
shop
did they?
and Bruce in the workshop.
Yeah, you're clever.
That was their idea.
What?
To bring Richie into the shop and Bruce into the workshop. They reckoned that was the
oh,
way.
Rich was going to get a go in there as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
Richie
Rich
didn't want
was
to
going
though,
to
did he?
He did the wisest thing. Look at him now.
Went into
Yes.
the airport.
Yes.
What, driving trucks?
Oh, well,
Yeah, but he
Rich
told me
was.
he's very close to
By
retiring,
choice.
so he's doing.
He's
yeah,
going to be
he's doing
retired by
alright.
Christmas.
He said they're going to be retired. Yeah, he's retiring. He's
Yeah.
not waiting until he's
What are they going to do?
60. Well,
Just-
obviously,
Enjoy
Well, you
life. Enjoy life.
live life while
That's
they're
what
young.
I've been
Live
doing
for the
life
last
while
20
they're young enough
years,
to enjoy it.
He's had a few frights and
Yeah.
He has.
Health-wise, yes.
He's had the niggles, hasn't he?
get out and enjoy it.
Yes,
It's just like my blimmin' investment guy. I've had an argument with him in the last fortnight. Keeps on telling you how you got to save for your future and your retirement. I said, geez, Frank, I want to do it now while I'm alive.
Yeah.
Leaving it.
Leaving it to all your kids.
Well,
And this is what they talk about. I said, Rosie said to me,